Hello. Hey, Koki, thanks for letting me know. I thought it had worked, but I appreciate the confirmation. And thanks also for the subscription. Yay, 14 months of watching me make cakes. Alrighty, so it's Friday night. I'm working on my last wedding cake. So we are doing a 16-inch raspberry cake today. We've got a lovely big cake board. I've got lots of cake bits. So let's get going. Welcome, everyone. Alrighty. So I've got a lovely giant batch of vanilla buttercream here. And we are putting lemon syrup and lemon curd inside this cake. So it'll be very tasty. It's one of my most popular flavors. It's light and fresh, and it's going to have tons of raspberries on top. So, you know, lemon and raspberry, you can't go wrong with that combination. All right, so let's just start with spilled some lemon syrup on the board already. Don't want that. Okay, so a little bit of buttercream on our cake board, which will act like glue. Now, what was that noise? Oops, my phone's in my pocket. Let's put you on silent, and let's put my watch on silent as well. This time I remember. Okay, wash my hands. Okay. So I bake this size cake in two separate halves, just because when you get to a certain size of cake, one, it may no longer fit in your oven, but two, it can take it can take a very long time to cook. So I find doing it in smaller pieces means you just get a nicer result. Just finding the center of my board. I am exceptionally bad and finding the center. I used to I'm a chef by trade, so I used to do like a lot of fine dining sort of plating back in the day where everything was in the center of the plate, and I would get into so much trouble because I'd always I could never get things in the center. I do have astigmatism that I wear glasses for, like driving and reading and computing and whatever. I don't like glasses in the kitchen because they fog up. So it'd probably help if I had my glasses on. But anyway. All right, so I got my lovely vanilla cakes. And I'm just brushing them with a lemon syrup. So this syrup is really simple recipe. It's like a cup of sugar, a cup of water, and the juice of a lemon. So super, super simple. And it's good for adding like just a lemony flavor to the cake. I use a lemon curd, but it's sort of got a different lemon note. Not that the cake needs extra moisture, but it does add moisture as well. So we're just painting the cake, basically. And these are butter cakes. So they're not as heavy as mud cake, not as light as sponge cake, and they're somewhere in between, which I like because they're heavy enough to stay fresh, but because there's a lot of butter in them, once they come up to room temperature or body temperature, they're nice and soft and great texture. Sponge cakes are delicious, but I find they dry out quite quickly, and a lot of people who use sponge cakes will then like soak all their cakes in simple sugar syrup. Or they're not very sturdy for baking just because a sponge has less fat in it than a butter or a mud cake. All right, so these are that's our bottom layer, all nice and soaked in lemon. And I'm just going to give that a second to soak in. And while that happens, I'm just going to soak my top layer as well. So I'm probably hiding behind the detail cam now. I do apologize. But pretty much just the same thing. I had a similar cake but different flavors. So it was vanilla with a passion fruit curd earlier this week for another wedding. And so just to add another layer of like passion fruited goodness, I opened fresh passion fruits and then like strained them out and then took all the liquid that came out of them once you remove all the seeds or whatever. And I brushed the cake with passion fruit, which was quite nice. So they had like a passion fruit curd, and then they had like the passion fruit, fresh passion fruity flavor. So you got like a nice variation of flavor like that. Some people will use a, it's hard to explain. It's like a bottle with holes in it. They can literally just pour over their cake. And I think people who make like tres leche cakes, so the cakes that get soaked in 3 different kinds of milk, that's one of those sort of soaking bottles. So, but because I don't drown all my cakes in syrup, I just do it with a pastry brush. All right. Put that aside, just get the stickiness off my hands. Alrighty, let's pretend I didn't just bump the cake there. Okay. Cool. So vanilla buttercream. I'm just going to pipe nice big dots. Around the outside edge. You hate you're concentrating and you get like an itch. So I'm going as close to the edge as I can without being right on the edge, because when I put cake on top of it, I don't want it to ooze out everywhere. Right, now I'm going to take some lemon curd. Just give it a slight stir. I don't want to break it down. I just want to make it smooth enough to spread. Just going to carefully maneuver this up to the buttercream without actually pushing it through the gaps. Ah, noisy fridge has finally stopped. All right, so just a little bit extra. Don't want it too tall because I don't want it to sit above the height of the lemon curd. So I might have gone a little bit too high in places. You basically want enough as possible for flavour without compromising look or the texture. Okay. So I think that looks pretty good. All right, let's grab our buttercream. Yeah, we should be good. We should pipe it. Because everything's on silent, I feel my watch beep, but I obviously didn't hear it. And now I want to know what it is. All right, so I'm just going to pipe some really little dots just to make sure my lemon curd is sealed in. Okay. So that should pretty much make sure that the curd can't ooze up and over. And then Okay, my iPad's still got noise on it. Funny how long it takes like an email to appear on my phone as opposed to like on my iPad or whatever. Okay. So we're just putting a layer, oops, I bumped the board, layer of buttercream on top of the cake. Just piping it because that's sort of the feel of the cake. But just making like nice quick pipes. Also my buttercream's just a tad soft. Which makes it really easy at this point. Okay. The buttercream actually is quite soft. It's took a very long time to firm up when I made it earlier. It's really weird and warm and humid here today. It's definitely not a pavlova making day, that's for sure. Okay, just filling in any little gaps I can see. Once the weight of the cake goes on top, it should be fine. But alrighty. Now, because it's baked in two halves, and obviously I know where the halfway is, I don't want to put the top layers on in that same positioning because literally, well, one, the cake could split in half, but two, like if you got the center portion, you wouldn't really get a nice looking portion. So I'm just going to take my next cake layer and just arrange it offset so the cake becomes a lot stronger. Except I didn't get it 100% lined up. I don't want to disturb my piping too much, so I've got to be really careful not to like wriggle the cake around too much. Because the more you move it, the more the piping will move. Okay. Okay. That's pretty flat. It's not like 100,000,000% completely flat, but like it looks decent. So I'm going to stop touching it. Cool. Koki, that's read out to me as cooked 28 pat. I don't know how it got that name, but that's quite hilarious. But yes, I suppose I was patting the cake down, wasn't I? All right, all right. Cake is being patted. Are you happy now? All right. Just looking at the amount of buttercream left and going, oh my God, do I have enough left? I've gone through a huge amount. Like, it should be fine. I had over 2 kilos of buttercream. I usually estimate 1 kilo per layer, and that's always overestimating. So hopefully it's enough. All right, so once again, my very soft buttercream. I don't know why it's so soft. Like, it is holding its shape, just. The only thing I can think of is it's a meringue-based buttercream. I make an Italian meringue buttercream. The only thing I can think of is my meringue got really whipped up. And I did melt it down, and like I always put my buttercream through a sieve just to make sure it's perfectly smooth. So I did that. But yeah, it's still very aerated. I mean, no one wants to eat a straight lump of butter, so aerated buttercream actually is a good thing. Air like increases improves texture, cuts down on sweetness, you know, all kinds of things. Air is great. But yeah, because there's air in there, all the fat molecules are spread out, so it's not setting as firmly. That would be my guess. I mean, it is going to go in the fridge overnight, so it should firm up. Anyway, I'm just having a little stress out. All right. So my most important buttercream dots are done. The ones that have to be super pretty because people will see them. And then just with the next batch, They don't have to be as pretty, but I'm trying to get them to go in these like in the in-between bits, just to make sure you don't see any, like you don't have any holes. Okay, so because they're all offset, you shouldn't get any, you shouldn't have to see any gaps in the buttercream, is what I'm trying to say. Now, we're just quickly applying buttercream. And hoping I should have enough. I should have enough. I should have enough. Luckily, as the circles get smaller, each refill goes further, but yeah, it's going to be tight. So I'm in a commercial, excuse me, I'm in a commercial block of shops. So I work from a commercial kitchen, and back in the day, pre-pandemic, before I moved my business to 90% wedding cakes, like I used to sell to the public. So I have a commercial kitchen in here and then like a little shop front out the front. But there's a residential house just there behind the shops. And it's like I've been here quite a while, so seen all the like the neighborhood kids grow up. And one of them started a band. Oh, it's so funny. Anyway, I was thinking the other day I hadn't heard any music for ages. Like he does the Nirvana and the, you know, all the Smoke on the Water and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I was just thinking I hadn't heard him for ages, but I believe, sorry, excuse me, I believe unis are on holidays now, or some private schools might be on a break. Not entirely sure, but I've seen heaps of kids around lately. And I'm wondering if the guy who started a band, because he was like pretty much every day last year, and over Christmas and summer, whatever. But yeah, I'm wondering if he's like been away at school or something, or just been focusing on work, and then he's on a break. So the music has started up again. Anyway, so I literally am like using up the last dregs of my buttercream. So I've done I got all the way through, which I was actually getting quite concerned about. And now I'm just filling in any little gaps and any sort of lower areas, because I'm going to put raspberries on top of this, and we want it to be as even as possible. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And that was all our buttercream. Okay, here comes the fun bit. Well, the slow and tedious bit, but the bit that makes the cake look good, right? We're gonna add raspberries now. Just the buttercream on the base supported the weight of the tier above it. So if I'm very careful with the raspberries, the soft buttercream should support the raspberries until it sets. So that's what we're going with. All right. So, beautiful fresh raspberries. Been having a little bit of a problem at the moment. Getting them. We've had bad weather. Heat waves and then floods and things. So it's been a bit stressful actually. Finding raspberries for cakes. And normally, like, I tell clients, you know, like, fruit seasonal, blah, blah, blah. But, like, summer, we get the best raspberries from Tasmania in summer. So I never normally worry about getting a supply of berries this time of year. However, these have been the hardest to get. So these are beautiful and big, which is nice because they'll just look gorgeous. I don't wash my berries because as soon as you wash berries, they start losing flavor. So I just buy them as fresh as possible and then check over them really carefully just to make sure they're up to standard. And sometimes, so this will be a 2-layer cake. I like a 2-berry layer cake. So sometimes there's ones that, like, absolutely nothing wrong with them, but they've got a tiny bit of a blemish or something like that. And so with a 2-layer, so like this one, perfectly fine, but I just don't like the look of those little bits. Like, they're just, it's like they're deflated. So what I can do is just pop them on the inside instead, where you won't see that. Of course, if I was doing just a single layer, I would probably just keep the slightly less nice looking ones for like raspberry compote or something. Okay, and this one's quite small. So I'll keep the little ones you never know when you need to fill in gaps and stuff like that. These are huge though. They're pretty cool. But yeah, so this is a very popular style of cake, very popular wedding cake. So I call this like a naked raspberry cake. So you got naked sides, so there's no icing on the sides. This was really, really in a couple of years ago. People are still going for like raspberry covered cakes. That trend's not dying, but it's just like evolving a bit. And so most of the raspberry cakes I make now have like smooth sides. But, you know, there's a reason this style became popular. I did a gorgeous cake earlier in the week. I'll show you guys actually. So it was a raspberry cake, but it was two-tier, and it has a style of piping that is really on trend right now. Where did my favorited one go? Oh yeah. Okay. So it's like a sort of got like grapes and stuff piped on the side. Anyway, so they're sort of the latest in thing. So I'm going to post that soon on my socials, and I'm sure I will get some inquiries about that. Nice to do something a bit different. Actually have a vendor friend of mine. He's putting together a photo shoot. I think we're doing it in May. I don't know, it's well off, but anyway, it's she's a bit alternative. You know, like likes her. She and the guy next to her actually would get along well. She likes Nirvana, and rock music and stuff. She's a very cool girl. Anyway, yeah, she's putting together a photo shoot, and she wants it like dark and grungy and stuff. And so I was thinking of doing something sort of along the style of the one I just showed you guys, but like she wants dark and moody, so it's going to probably be like red and black or something. Maybe black with like all the beautiful red raspberries. And just tossing up. Because if I put it out there and someone likes it, it means I'll have to do more of it. Which is cool, but making like reds and black buttercream is it's not easy and it uses up like so much food coloring, which I mean, not an issue. I'm happy to buy the food coloring, but more like the more food coloring you use, the more it stains people's mouths when they eat it. So quite often people who get offered like bright red or bright black cake may not want to eat it. So yeah. So a friend of mine celebrated 50th birthday and her favorite color is blue. I wasn't friends with her at the time, but I saw her pictures and like she had this amazing looking cupcake tower. Like I think they went pretty all out for her party. Amazing looking cupcake tower, but like everyone in the pictures was just stained blue afterwards. So yeah, I'm a little bit concerned if I do go down the bright color route. We might, I don't know if I want to do it like more of them. That's what I'm trying to say. There is a product that's come out recently. It's called Cake Cream, and it's basically Cheats meringue-based buttercream. So yeah, I make an Italian meringue style buttercream where you make a hot sugar syrup and pour that over your egg whites and then add butter. And the reason I use Italian meringue is it's like super, super nice and stable. But a lot of people prefer Swiss meringue, where you just whisk your eggs and sugar over like a water bath until it gets like into food safe area, so like 65 degrees. And so once you do that, and then you whisk it up to make a meringue, and then you add your butter. And the texture is like just, I wouldn't say it's hugely different, but it's just like marginally silkier. So a lot of cake makers make Swiss meringue buttercream. I just find it's not quite as stable as Italian meringue, so I prefer Italian meringue. But this product called Cake Cream, so it's basically just, I think it's just egg whites and sugar, and then you just, might even be the egg whites are pasteurized, so you don't have to like cook them out. You can just put them straight in the mixer. So you just put it in the mixer with water to rehydrate the egg whites, and then beat it up. And then once it's reached a certain stage, you add your butter. Now, the reason I mention this is because it comes in colors. And if it's just egg whites and sugar, I can work out the I could work out how to turn it into an Italian meringue. And if so, they come pre-colored. So they shouldn't need as much food coloring to achieve like a really deep color, because it's already in there when you start making it. Anyway, something to look into. But yeah, I'm keen to make a really gothic looking wedding cake for this open day. Just don't know if I would like to make more of them. Luckily, not many people want black wedding cakes. Trying to get a punnet of raspberries that's just crap. I like my raspberries to be as perfect as possible. And here's where grabbing some of those little ones, wedge them in there. There we go. Outer ring is complete. Yay! So that's like my most important presentation layer of raspberries. They are beautiful. Well, the ones that aren't moldy are beautiful. I don't quite understand how you get one punnet that's just like that. Oh, sorry, my neck's getting sore. I need a tall desk for this. Yeah, do not know. I'm the weirdo in the shop, like looking at every single punnet to try and choose the best ones possible. Oh, my neck, sorry. Anyways, I'm sure you guys have heard enough about raspberries to sink ship. So the rest of my week, I've had this one's fine. So weird. Had a busy week. So we're in the first week of March now. So in our area of the world, this is really peak wedding season. March, April, and then like October, November. They're your most popular months to get married. Although February the last few years has been super busy. Even January this year was a lot busier than normal. I was talking to a florist friend saying, you know, January's been a bit bonkers. Normally you're always really busy on admin in January because people like get some time off or get engaged over Christmas, and then so they all inquire, and so you're following up with all those inquiries. Sorry, I got an itchy face. I don't know why. Yes, so you're following up with all of that in January, so it's normally good that it's hot. So you know, you don't have that many bookings, you just have a lot of admin, so it all balances out. But I was talking to a florist friend, and we're both saying like January was super busy, February was super busy, March is pretty bonkers, but the way Easter falls this year, it's not Easter Anzac Day, where that's been the case the last few years. So the first weekend is quieter, and then the last weekend is quieter. So anyways. Train outside. There's a railway line that runs just up there. Yes, anyway, this week I had that raspberry cake I showed you guys, the sort of modern one with the grape piping and stuff on it. That was Wednesday. And then I didn't have a Thursday cake. I've had a Thursday wedding pretty much every week, like the first 8 or 9 weeks. Gonna grab more raspberries. Oops, I'm going to walk in front of the camera. Sorry about that. You had a lot of Thursday weddings. So this is the first week I didn't have a Thursday wedding, but I had a Wednesday wedding instead. But yeah, so I had that 2T raspberry, and actually that one, probably this is the reason why it was a Wednesday wedding. It was only a small wedding. It was like a 30-person size, and they had all these really cool modern things like serpentine tables and just fun fashionable stuff. So I kind of like the idea of taking a budget and then maybe having less people, but having like all the good stuff. So, you know, better quality food and alcohol and like higher end styling and stuff, but you know, just not as many guests. Anyway, so that was Wednesday. I had that. Nothing Thursday. And then today I had a love heart shaped vintage cake, and that went to a popular venue. One of the places that just does like it's really nice food and things. They've got great service, but they just churn out the weddings. So that was today. And then I've got one tomorrow to the same place as Wednesday. And that's another smallish one. I think it's a 60-person cake. This big guy, so this is a 120-person cake, like just coffee servings, not dessert pieces, but yeah, just like small pieces to have with tea and coffee. And then yeah, so the small wedding in the morning, the big wedding in the afternoon. Oops. Some wedding tastings and a couple of celebration cakes. So it's been a busy week. The week before was a bonkers. I had all the cakes were the same size and a lot of them were the same flavor. So I was so stressed about, but they weren't exactly the same. They all had slight differences. So like I had a chocolate cake with smooth buttercream and a chocolate cake with semi-naked buttercream, and I had to make sure I got those right. It's just odd, like they were all the same size. And I had like a Thursday, a Friday, 3 Saturdays, and a Sunday, plus a couple of other little things. But yeah, they're all 70-person cakes, which was weird. Anyways, this is actually coming along not too badly. We're about up to almost an hour. That's really not too bad for a cake this size. It helps that the berries are huge. The worst thing about big ones is you get big gaps in the center. So this is why I quite like a 2-layer cake. I mean, some people will just put the second layer on like that, which is tempting. but I normally have them standing all upright, so. That's funny. Kind of quite a fashionable, like, she's a designer. She's a bit ahead of her time. I found out afterwards that, like, planning her wedding was just her full-time job. Like, she had her own business, and so she pretty much stopped her clients and then just planned her wedding for the last 6 months or a year or whatever before the wedding. Crazy. Anyway, her wedding was gorgeous, really modern, and she had a cake like this. And it was before they had really taken off, so I was definitely the first person in my area who made them. And now, you know, everyone does because they're just not as bespoke as they once were. But anyway, the girl was so she asked me for like an Italian style wedding cake. We came up with this design. This is how we got the 2 layers of raspberries on top. And yeah, all cool, all good. She was happy. She had to actually convince her husband-to-be that what would normally be the floral budget for cake flowers became the raspberry budget. He wasn't sold until he saw it and tasted it. But anyway, where was I? So yeah, she was a designer. And then, so this was not too long out of COVID, like shutdowns and stuff. So I'd taken a casual job when like everything got cancelled, and obviously we all needed money. So I was working just in a hospital kitchen. I'm a chef by trade, so it's just easy enough to go back and get a job in my industry anyway. But yeah, I was doing like, I think Monday, Tuesdays there, and then like the rest of the week was this sort of work. Anyways, so I was at work and like my phone was on silent. I wouldn't answer it at work, but I could just hear it buzzing and I could just see, like it was under my desk, so I could just see notifications coming through. And it's like, what is going on? Why is my phone blowing up? Waited until I finished work. You know, I think I was working 6 a.m. till 2:30 or something like that. And there were just messages and messages and messages. So it turns out the designer bride had been interviewed on a wedding podcast, and they'd shared a picture of them cutting my cake as the as the cover art. I think it might have just been like the picture they used on Instagram to promote the podcast. Anyway, the number of people who asked for this cake was crazy. And sort of from there on, this became my specialty, which I'm not sad about because I love raspberries. I think they're probably the most delicious fruit. I don't like really, really sweet things. Like I can appreciate, I still eat sweet stuff. I love chocolate, but I don't like just sweet for the sake of sweet. So I prefer a salted caramel over a caramel, for example, just so you got a little bit of balance. Uh-oh. Sorry, what was I? Yeah, so raspberries, because they're like acidic and tart and stuff, they're definitely my favorite fruit. So I'm not sad at all about being known for raspberry cakes. Oh, my neck though. My neck may disagree. It's tiny. So almost there on the first layer, which is actually really good. Ironically, I'm going to have, I actually thought I would run out of berries for the top layer. I really thought that I'd possibly only get the first one done. So I bought 18 yesterday. And then I had a couple left over from Wednesday, which is the ones I'm going through now. So anything that's not perfect, like I'm not sad about chucking them. And then I bought another 6. But we have this place called Harris Farm, which has beautiful products, but they just have a cool store. They don't have a they don't keep their berries in the fridge because they're just like a fruit and veg store. Obviously they couldn't refrigerate everything. Which means their fruit and flowers don't seem to last as long. So I got 6 punnets of backup raspberries. Okay. I don't love this. Put those to the side if I get really stuck. Yeah, I've been so stressed out with like the weather and everything I was saying before about just not being able to get them that I just started buying way more than I normally would, because if you go through a punnet and half of them are bad, you need twice as many to get the amount you need. Funnily enough. So yeah, I picked up 6 that weren't amazing today, but I thought, if I'm in really big trouble, I can pick through them and like I should be able to get enough out. Hopefully I won't even need to touch them, which is great, but then I'm gonna have so much leftover fruit. Anyways, what a shame. I'll have to eat it or something. But yeah, so once this is done, cake prep for the week is done also, which is very nice. I'm trying really, really hard not to finish work at like some stupid hour of the morning. It is a very well-known thing amongst cake makers that like on Thursday and Friday nights we just work super, super late. And I'm just really trying to just get a bit of my life back. I love doing this, like, and I'm getting some really lovely career highs at the moment. Like getting recommended by amazing venues. So, you know, that's super, super cool. But there's no point killing yourself to, you know, to get those highs, because if you get to a point where you're so exhausted, you can't do it. Anyway, so that's the internal, probably both, battle. Whenever I heard the word, oh my God, I cannot talk. Whenever I hear the word eternal, the only thing I can think of is the Disney movie Aladdin, where Jafar, you know, the evil sorcerer, uses Aladdin to get the lamp, I think, and then he says, like, now it's time for your reward, your eternal reward, and then like pushes him basically to what like should be his death inside the Magic Sphinx. So for some weird reason, that always comes to mind. When we're talking, oh no, it messed up my buttercream. That's not good. Oh well, I get to try it. Yep. Raspberries are still my favorite. Shush fridge. Anyways, don't know how much else I have, what news I have. My other half, Koki AUS, after helping me with streaming for a long time, took quite a while for me to get affiliate, and then he's so lovely, he subscribes to me, which, you know, it feels crazy, but anyway, he's recently started streaming himself, but he's a gamer. He's definitely not a chef. So I wonder how I can do that. I don't know if I can do this. need Koki to come do it himself. And nope, I messed that up. Oh well. Oh well. Oh, maybe. Anyways, anyone who's watching who feels like giving him a follow, nothing like what I do, but he plays fun games. So we're working towards getting him to affiliate at the moment. Of course, anyone who's there we go. Ah, Mackie hearts. Yeah, anyway, so anyone who wants to give him a follow, please do. He is awesome. He does all my tech support, so he deserves it, because I fall down amongst the tech. Yeah, we're trying to get him to affiliate, so that'll be fun when he does. Of course, like, I'm not a gamer, and so I'm supporting his streams right by watching him game. But yeah, I'm not a gamer, so like half the time I have no idea what I'm watching. And me being a chef, like, if you're a chef, marry an introvert, because they don't mind being at home with their own company while you are working. Professional marriage advice there. No. No. My discard pile is growing disturbingly large. Yeah. You can open new packets. Okay, some of these are like monster sized. Having a breakdown. None of my bits fit. Try to keep them all the same height, which as close as possible, which can be quite difficult. Anyway, I've done my bottom row and I've got around the presentation layer for the outside, so super cool. And now I can now the process speeds up a tiny bit. I saw your text, Koki, but I didn't read it all the way. Actually, give my neck a break for a second to stare at the... Oh, Koki. Poor Koki's on dinner duty tonight. Just easy casual Friday night dinners. But the dilemma is, well, the trick to dinner is you should organize it before you do your Friday evening drinks. And I think he got caught out Anyway, I won't be home super late, so hopefully if he gets really stuck I can do something to help. But he'll probably pass out from hunger by the time I do actually get out of here. Oh, my neck. I need a yeah, this is awful. I pulled it a little bit the other night, and I think like once it's a bit sore, anything you do aggravates it. But because these raspberries are so beautiful and big, hopefully I'll get through this fairly quickly. What are we at? Yeah, so hour 20, not quite at the hour mark of raspberrying yet, which is actually very good. If they're tiny, sometimes you're here forever. Oh, that's better. Yeah, so next week, I mean, this is March, this is peak wedding season. I'm going to say every week's bonkers. So really long, skinny rectangle cakes are having a moment at the moment. And I got my first one of those for the year booked for next Friday. And that's at a really fancy venue, about 2.5, 3 hours drive from here. Beautiful venue. And one of those cool places where you can hire, like it has accommodation on site. So it's lots of like glamping, like it's got a few big houses and it's got some glamping and stuff. So, you know, you hire it for a couple of days so people get there and they get a chance to relax, and then you and then like you have the wedding on day 2 or day 3, you know, and then a big recovery breakfast the next day. Anyway, gorgeous venue. If I was to get married again, I would definitely do like a multi-day affair because it's just like so much more relaxed and really nice. I went to one a few years ago with a friend. Actually, it was sort of a short notice thing. Her daughter was living overseas, and so she needed to have I think she was studying and working at the same time over in like Sweden or somewhere really cool. So the wedding had to be like during her daughter's like adult daughter school break. Anyway, for whatever really random reason, we ended up having the wedding like on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in July. It was a bit unusual, but so we went down on the Tuesday night. There was a big like welcome dinner. Everyone got to relax. We all went back and stayed in like little group cabin things. And then, you know, the next day everyone got nice and relaxed, ready together. There was no one that was late for the wedding because, you know, everyone was staying on site, which is really cool. And yeah, then everyone, like, no worries about drink driving or anything. Everyone just like stumbled back to their cabins at the end of the night. And then we all got together the next day before people set off to go home. It's just so nice. Oh, hey, Koki, thanks for the look. My headphones don't read those out. Anyways, yeah. So I'm a very big fan of those kind of get-togethers. I would much rather if I was to get married again to the same person, of course. Or if I've made cakes for people at the same venue, who are like celebrating like a 50th or something. And it's the same idea. Also thinking if I was to do it all over again, or I was just to have a big party, I'd like to either get some food trucks or I love fine dining, like I'm a fine dining chef at heart, but there's something about like really good casual food, like excellent burgers or like sourdough pizzas or like really good Asian food like baos and stuff. So yeah, if I was planning a big celebration, I'd like some food trucks and stuff. It'd be fun. But I am not. I am making cakes. Got this demented squished one. Not quite right for my gap though. There we go. Getting there. Actually making good progress. Yeah. Oh, I need to stretch my neck. The pollen is just growing and growing and growing. So a really cool video about how they pick raspberries, and like there's this center bit that goes in there, and they just like pull this bit off the plant, which is kind of cool. Actually, a few streams ago when I had another raspberry cake, I did raspberry facts. I was joking about like, you know, send me a tip and I'll look up more raspberry facts. And then I got a tip, which was just hilarious. But I think I flogged that horse. It's a horrible saying, by the way. Like, do not like it. Do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam. I am. Do Do not like them in a boot. Do not like them with a goat. You know, enough, because that's all I know that way. Yeah, we're coming along quite nicely. I did get another raspberry cake last year, which is a short one like this, but it had smooth sides and had piping on the top and bottom edge, had raspberries, and then had a bow. So it's sort of like the combo of several little trends at the moment. But I put that one up on socials and it just went crazy. I got so many inquiries for that style. So I have a few of those booked coming up. Actually, very different from this look, but a few years ago, like wafer paper flowers were quite on trend. And they sort of disappeared for a while, and then they're coming back, but not like, sort of not along the lines of your sugar paste flower. Wafer paper is just coming back as like sort of a little bit more natural and organic, and then using it to make edible fabrics and stuff like that. So I'm dying to give something like that a try. I'm wondering if I should do a little, just a little practice stream, see what I can make. It's always good to improve your skills. So I have every second Saturday night scheduled to do like home streaming. But yeah, I'm wondering if I do like a fun wafer paper cake instead tomorrow. Could be fun, something a bit different. But yeah, so I'm doing this rectangle cake next week at this super fancy premium venue where you can stay and stuff. So that's exciting. And then I've got a big pile of rectangle cakes booked now. Oh, hey there, old nerd Steve. How you doing? Took pity on me talking to myself. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good Friday night, if it's Friday in your part of the world. If not, oh, good. I'll be better once I finish this and stop looking down. Oh, nice. Love another Aussie. Yeah. Very cool. Best night of the week, I reckon, because you've got the whole weekend ahead. Yeah. Once I'm done here, and then I've washed the floor and cleaned the dishwasher, all those very exciting hospitality things. Once that's all done, I get to go home too. So I'm pretty excited about that. So what have you been up to, Steve? Anything fun? Have you been streaming, gaming, just watching? Too busy with work? I don't know. Fancy a Duke joining circus? My raspberry bowl is overflowing. Oh, nice. You went to PAX? We are planning on PAX this year. Yeah, nice. That's right, he was playing Planet Crafter. Kirky's definitely the gamer and the tech guy in this relationship. So I like watching him play games, but I don't really know all that much what's going on. I just like Planet Crafter because like watching the toxic sort of surrounds become all nice and green and like butterflies and whatever. Yep, most likely. That makes sense. It's probably making him help me. We're making dinner or something, and he was running around stressing about tech. Poor guy. He's so much better suited to just gaming himself. But yeah, PAX, hey. Did you enjoy it? Like, is it good? We have booked a hotel, but we're waiting for the actual tickets to go on sale before we obviously bought tickets and flights and stuff. It's in October, which is I'm always super busy with weddings, so I need tickets now. I need them to release them so I can like completely properly close off that weekend and just tell people no wedding bookings. Okay. Yeah, there's some people we really want to catch up with or meet. Favorites that we've been watching them stream for a while. Should be fun. What sort of panels? Is it gaming or is it just general tech or I mean, I remember Penny Arcade from way back in the day when all they had was a comic. I remember buying Koki a t-shirt from them like so long ago when, you know, getting stuff shipped from America was actually a pretty big deal. Ah, oh, that is so cool. I find med stuff quite interesting. Um, before I became a chef, I wanted to be a vet. Two completely different words apart. Yeah, I can imagine, like, that would be funny. But I do enjoy med stuff. Half my YouTube algorithm is like medical comedians and stuff. Like do you watch like Fire Department Coffee? Or Fire Department Chronicles. That's the one we like best. Where he's just like real life scenarios, like he's seen as a paramedic and firefighter. Um, there's another funny guy, like Stevie Joe or something, who just skits about like being a nurse in the hospital. Oh, so close, so close. Ah, I squished it. Damn it. Oh, cool. Yeah, that like bald guy Jason with the like loud voice and stuff. He's his stuff's good. The ones where like he goes to the house and there his patients are have taken substances and he's like, why are they always naked? There's a few like that which are hilarious. Alrighty. It is done. Even though the raspberries are lit misshapen and all over the place. Just going to like go back and try and either stand them up a little bit straighter or like possibly squeeze an extra berry in to just make it look more neat and try not to squash. The ones that are in there already. It's too small, looks funny. Hmm. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that sounds really interesting. On the topic of people we watch on YouTube, um, there's a guy who does archery stuff, and he sometimes talks about like bow and arrows, archery things in games, which is quite interesting as well. But seeing like real life people on a panel discuss, that would be even better, I reckon. The wonky raspberries are really annoying me. From afar it looks great, but they're just weird shapes. I mean, I'm very glad to have gotten them because they've been hard to find. Yeah, I can. Definitely. Actually, I've got a celebration cake tomorrow that's gluten-free. I always just say to people, look, I'm happy to make gluten-free cakes, and I'm really careful, but because they're made in an environment that also handles like all other allergens, like I can't guarantee there'll be no traces. And most people are pretty fine with that. You know, anyone who is happy to eat in a restaurant that serves gluten-free food amongst normal food, you know, normally they're fine with cakes. But yeah, I actually find, are you gluten-free yourself, Steve? Is that why you're asking? I'm assuming that's why. I find the Woolworths brand of gluten-free flour is actually my favorite blend. I don't normally buy anything like home brand for this kind of stuff. Ah, okay, you wouldn't know. Yeah. What's your preferred brand of flour? Do you use like the Well and Goods or the White Wings or yeah, for baking I've just found that I quite like the balance of starches and flours in the gluten-free Woolworths flour. So I use that, and pretty much I can go like equal quantities of gluten-free compared to standard flour. I'm just really aware that some gluten-free flours can soak up more liquid, so they cook faster. But yeah, I do gluten-free, but yeah, for celiacs, I obviously give you guys an option that you can, you know, there is other flour in the air. But yeah, I make cakes like this. Cakes like this work perfectly fine because it's only the cake itself. It's held together with buttercream and lemon curd and all that delicious stuff that naturally doesn't have gluten in it anyway. The cake tomorrow that's gluten-free is a caramel cake. It's filled with salted caramel, buttercream, and caramel sauce. Oh, and then we've got some obviously gluten-free sprinkles. So that's my gluten-free celebration cake for tomorrow. It's a male's birthday, so boy cakes are sometimes hard. Yeah, White Wings gluten-free flour. Yeah, that's not bad. I use it if I can't get my Woolworths one, but I just find that a lot like that's quite starchy. So yes, yeah, and I like flour to act a little bit more like flour. Oh God, I got to clean up all this raspberry mess. Feel really bad for people with dietaries because you know if they're legitimate ones like celiac, it's so hard. And then because there's so many people who just do gluten-free or whatever for fashion reasons, then a lot of chefs don't take it all that seriously because they're like, oh yeah, sure, you know, gluten-free this week, vegan next week. Yeah, I feel sorry for you guys. It would be really hard. Have you been diagnosed for long? Is it something you're used to now that you've been just dealing with most of your life, or is it like something recent? Because if you've been diagnosed for a while, you know options have gotten a lot better recently. I'm just getting rid of the bad ones. Oh, that's so disappointing. Gluten, gluten is an amazing product. It does so many cool things for baking. Okay, 4 years. Yeah. Ugh, that's awful. At least I guess now you know though, like sometimes it takes something getting bad to like either do something about it or find out about it. And then I'm assuming you're feeling a lot better now that um you've altered stuff. Oh no. Like um pasta is just I think pasta and like good bread would be the things that I would be most disappointed about, I reckon. I don't know. I like carbs though. Um, yeah. Yeah, they're like the three major food groups, right? I have a friend who she's allergic to grass. And like she cannot consume anything in the grass family. So like your wheat and like rye and oats and all that kind of stuff. Um, and she gets very, very jealous when I'm talking about cakes and things because she can't do bread, pasta cakes, all that kind of stuff. All right, so I got a punnet of raspberries. I will take with me on delivery just in case anything happens and I need to do any repairs. And then I need a bigger bowl for my rejects. These were all just, they're still fine, they were just a bit small. So I'll keep all these and I can use them like to make raspberry compotes or to make like white chocolate raspberry cakes, anything like that. So no need to waste them. Let's make great cocktails. We discovered this really good cocktail, which is, I like Chambord, which is a black raspberry liqueur. I find enough, they're raspberries. And I like Cointreau citrus liqueur. So we made this cocktail one day, which was like a whole punnet of raspberries, a measure of Cointreau, and a measure of Chambord. And it was so good. We call it our Saturday night smoothie. Anyway, so if I get too many raspberries building up, I can take them home for that fun stuff. Yeah, it's good, like really good. Okay. So they will just go in the freezer. And speaking of the freezer, I've got tasting cakes this weekend, like tasting boxes. And that one's the same flavor as this one. So it's more efficient to make them at the same time, right? So it's vanilla cake, lemon syrup, lemon curd, vanilla buttercream. Anyway, because I need to cut it before I go, I just popped it in the freezer just like for 20 minutes for it to firm up. And of course, I forgot it was in the freezer. So we're going to let that soften a little bit, and then I'll also cut it for tasting cakes. How many punnets did I go through? I think 23. Yeah, crazy, right? A little green waste bag. So, very lucky our council collects green waste, which means all these slightly not so nice raspberries don't go to landfill, which is good. Oh no, that was terribly done. Didn't think that one through very well. Let's do this away from the cake, shall we? Don't need to stain the side of the cake with the raspberries. I try as much as I can because the food industry does create a lot of waste. So I try as much as I can to recycle all my plastics, and then compost my green waste, all that kind of stuff. It helps. All my cake trimmings go to a friend of mine who's got some cattle, so they can eat a little bit of bread and cake, so they take my trimmings. And yeah, I try to be as careful as I can. All right, so I'm going to put those ones back in the fridge. There for tomorrow in case of emergency. Pop this guy in the fridge now. I'm pretty happy with that. Considering the trouble I've had with raspberry supply, I am happy. I just wish they were a little bit more uniform. But you take what you can get. Back in the fridge with you. Okay, last job of the night will be to cut up my tasting cake. And then it'll just be cleaning and home time. Alrighty, so nice clean bench. Chopping board. Knife. So this is a, oops, this is a 5-inch diameter cake, and I make coffee slices. So coffee slices are 1 inch by 1 inch by 5 inch tall, and they're literally the size of a cupcake, or the volume of cake that a cupcake would have, and they are often served with tea and coffee. If you're having a dessert slice, it would be twice the size. And I make these nice and clean and tidy. So I like to trim my edges down, just so if you're having this like in a wedding or at home, I guess, like the slices will sit flat on the like on the platter, pretty much. Luckily, it wasn't in the freezer quite long enough to freeze through solid. Just to firm up. Okay, so 5-inch cake provides 10 coffee slices. And yeah, so I trim these little bits off just to make things look nice for the tasting box, but absolutely nothing wrong. Like vanilla cake, lemon curd, vanilla buttercream. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. A lot of people who do tasting boxes will do like a cupcake or like a square of cake with a squiggle of icing on top. But I mean, it's so much more work. I am crazy sometimes. I do not, well, I make my life difficult. But I like the tasting box to look like how the cake will be served on the night. And that way, the client has a better idea of what they're ordering. I do a couple of wedding open days every year, like not too many because they're a lot of work. There's so much work, right? But every time I'm cutting up cake portions for wedding open days, I get so annoyed with myself because I'm like, I should just do these the easy way. But hopefully the people who meet me at the wedding open day, they appreciate the effort. Yeah, actually cutting this for you guys is actually a really good thing because it's a bit more even. You can see exactly how the raspberry cake I've just made will look when it's cut open. So you can't see the lemon syrup. You can see how you've got your vanilla cake. May sort of see a little bit of dampness, like it's not designed to make the cake soggy. It's just a little bit of flavor. But you got your cake, you got your syrup, you've got your lemon curd, and then you got a little layer of vanilla buttercream on the top. And so the raspberry cake's got that much cake. And so this is a standard proper tall cake. Anyway, I've probably blabbered on enough for one night. There we go. So pretty. So that is pretty much me done. Just have a sneaky little try. It's really good. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you. I hope he's getting really, really hungry. I'm actually pretty much done. But actually I can make my tasting boxes while I wait. Yeah. That's all my cake jobs for the Friday, which is very nice. These are my tasting boxes. I accidentally tore them last time, so I cling wrapped it to just keep it all nice and clean and dry and safe. And of course now I'm going to have to cut into my wrapping. A little bit annoying. So these are my tasting boxes, and the I've got 2 tomorrow. The customer gets 6 different flavors of cake. So starting from something really light and fresh and fruity, like the vanilla and lemon curd. And then we have like a strawberry and rose, a salted caramel, a red velvet with Nutella, and mocha buttercream. Like, they're all good, but that one has a special place in my heart because I developed the recipe completely on my own. It's really good. A white chocolate raspberry, and then like a dark chocolate honeycomb. So you start off nice and light and fresh and fruity, and then it gets like richer and more decadent as you go through the flavors. Yay, got it out. May as well just cling wrap that up again. Ah, you're back, Koki. Cook 28 cake wave is how it's read out. So that's interesting. There we go. Just get these out of the way. Oops, and not knock everything over. Yeah, this is pretty much me done now. This is my last non-cleaning job of the day. Then it's just time to pack down. Ah, okay. Fair enough. That makes sense. I'd never heard them read out until today, so I wasn't sure. It's giving me flashbacks. I was a first-year apprentice working somewhere where we did like so many pizzas, and as an apprentice you had to fold the boxes. I had like permanent paper cuts from the cardboard boxes on my hand for years. And as this was like scraping on my hand, I was having horrible flashbacks. Anyway, Yeah, Bernadette's, they were such good pizzas. Yeah. Funnily enough, it was a vegetarian pizza restaurant, but it was just the kind of vegetarian food that just happened to be like, it was tasty food that just happened to be veggie. It's a good place to work. We made everything by hand. Like all our pizzas and bread were made literally by hand. Yeah, unfortunately I left there to one, the pay was absolutely horrendous. I mean, it was a small restaurant and I was being paid as a very low end apprentice, so you know, it is what it is, but moved on to somewhere that had like was a lot more fine dining. But it was a good place. I enjoyed my time there. So this is just a cardboard bubble wrap that I use to cushion my cake slices. A lot of cake people, so a lot of girls like baking. And it's a very pretty thing to do. Like, so a lot of cake people have like pink packaging. And I'm not girly. Not at all. So I didn't want to have like pink packaging. So I went for like very craft browns and that kind of thing. You know, like chocolatey colors and stuff, chocolate caramel. Took way too much effort. Anyways, why is it always when you are pretty much finished that people seem to find what you're doing interesting? Hey, Koki, we should raid. You got any suggestions? It's been a little while since I raided, and which was making firm suggestions that I should raid the other day. So if you've got any suggestions yourself, please let me know. I know a couple of the usual food and drink streamers I raid are on, but I don't know, someone new would be good. Or anyone else in chat who has any suggestions on who to raid today. So my other cake samples are still in the fridge. So they're a little bit behind other things, so I won't pull them out now. They'll get pulled out in the morning. But so this is how the box sort of looks. We have 6 bits of cake down there, and then oops, any more business cards. Sorry, bear with me for a sec. This is like my little box with a few of everything for tasting boxes. Yeah, so this is sort of like my colors. They're all sort of brown, neutrals, caramels, eco-friendly sort of colors. So we have our 6 pieces of cake in there. We have a little legend, a little note thing that tells you what flavors you've got. And then I had these printed for an open day in 2024. Yes. But I've got a few of them left. So we've got like some of my awards. So I actually won an award last year that I really need to get on these. So I want to get rid of them so I can make up some more flyers. But like 3 of the popular cakes, I do like vintage raspberry and floral, and then like some other sort of fun ones on the back. So most people who have tastings, I do. Yeah. I do. I need to get rid of these. There's not many left actually. But yeah, I should just get more printed anyway and just recycle these. Anyways, I do like how there's pictures. And we only printed the stuff on the back because literally did the front and then the back was blank. So I don't know. Anyway, they need to be updated. But pretty much this is how my tasting boxes look. So you got all your pieces of cake. Oh, sorry for the distraction. I hope you enjoyed the stream though, watching me play with a billion raspberries. Yeah, anyways, so that's sort of my tasting boxes. We've got a nice clear lid that sometimes fits, sometimes doesn't. Well, thank you for tuning in. It's been lovely. And thanks for the chat. Always good. I'm glad you finally put a face to Koki's name. Working out where he came from. Anyway, I should stop messing around with this. It's been a fun one. Yeah. Thanks guys so much for watching. Thanks for the chatting. And not sure who to raid, so I'll just sign off. Have a good night, everyone, or a good morning, wherever you are in the world. And I'll catch up with you guys next time. All right, see you guys. Bye.